What's up, everybody? I'm Josh Meek, the Uber Geek. Welcome to Pretty Dece, your daily entertainment and pop culture show. Today on the show, we're getting into some video game legal news because it came to light over the weekend that the PUBG developers, the PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds developers, are suing Epic Games over the super popular game Fortnite. They are suing for copyright infringement. Of course, both PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds and Fortnite are battle royale games. Both are incredibly popular, and both are incredibly similar games in terms of concept and, just general playing of the games. Obviously, in terms of art style and some of the features like the building in Fortnite, they do have massive differences. But as far as like core genre concept modes go, they are incredibly similar. And this is a salvo kind of fired across the bow of Epic Games about those similarities. Now, this was filed in July, but we're just now finding out about it. And the official claim says that Fortnite copies PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds interface and also in-game items. Those are the specific things that they are bringing to light in this lawsuit. Now, the PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds developers have threatened Epic Games in the past, kind of very publicly, about how similar the two games were, and now that threat has turned into actual legal action. Fortnite was even announced when it was first added to Fortnite, the Battle Royale mode. It was even announced by kind of saying it was explicitly inspired by PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. That was the thing that the PUBG developers took offense with at the time, and now again has turned into this actual lawsuit. Now, this gets a little hairy because, of course, Epic also makes the Unreal Engine. That is the game engine that tons and tons of video games that you love are made on. It's the underlying tools to create those games. And PUBG, the developers behind PUBG, actually license the Unreal Engine. So these aren't just two random companies that are kind of sparring with each other and kind of at odds with each other. These are two companies that actually have a working relationship and that have some manner of license agreement between them. So there are, contracts that are in play here as a part of this as well, which makes things much weirder. Of course, Epic might want to cut ties with the PUBG developers because of this. But of course, we have the end user license agreement of signing up with the Unreal Engine that they also have to contend with. Neither party can really do anything to sort of break those kind of binding clauses in that agreement. So there's a lot of weird, kind of hairy stuff going on with this lawsuit. And in addition to all of that, it raises some just kind of larger questions about what constitutes copyright when it comes to a video game. Should the first game to feature a team deathmatch mode, for example, have claim over that mode type and be able to be the only ones that include that version of playing in their games? Should genres, game mechanics, game rules, should all of those things be subject to copyright protection in the same way that a logo, that a character likeness are? The art of your game is definitely copyright, but not necessarily the game concepts. Those things fall under patent laws, not copyright laws. These ideas and concepts are patentable, but not copyrightable. Copyright doesn't, in general, cover things like, concepts and algorithms, but weirdly, it does cover the underlying code that runs these games as a literary work. So obviously, the concepts of patents and copyrights are very outdated when it comes to modern works of art like video games, and it ends up having kind of these weird overlapping versions of law that unraveling them to figure out what applies where is super complicated and obviously needs updating now that technology and art have progressed to this point. It makes these claims super, super difficult. And it's not like the PUBG developers are claiming that Epic shouldn't be allowed to create a battle royale game. It is a bit more subtle than that, but this is obviously the direction that it seems like something like this could go. Now, most gamers wouldn't want PUBG to win a case like that, would not want PUBG to be the only game that can include a battle royale mode. Can you imagine a world where developers can't innovate on a genre, where there can only be one company that makes real-time strategy games, one company that makes turn-based RPGs? It certainly is not a world where we get good video games anymore. It becomes this weird litigation-heavy world that no one really wants to see happen, but it's certainly something that I think is a sort of scary possibility if this is taken to its next few logical conclusions. It's certainly something to keep watch over. Now, this particular lawsuit is probably just all smoke. It's probably that the PUBG developers are just kind of seeking a settlement at best. This won't actually go to court or anything like that. And I don't really foresee any new precedents in terms of how copyright is honored in video games to come about because of this lawsuit. However, it does represent this potential legal battle between two of the biggest game developers in the country right now, or in the world right now, rather. And they are very influential, so it's certainly something to keep an eye on, certainly something to keep watch of, and hope that it doesn't all blow up for all of our gamers' sakes. So that's going to do it for Pretty Dece for today. Thank you very much for joining me to talk about the legal threats between PUBG and Epic Games. If you liked the show and want to see more, new episodes of Pretty Dece premiere weekdays at 8 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/PrettyDeceShow. You can also check out the daily episodes on the podcast feed or at the YouTube channel. You can find that at prettydeceshow.com/video. Finally, catch me on Facebook and Twitter at Pretty Dece Show.